think that's one of the pluses of Boyle Heights. There were Russian, Italians, Japanese, Latinos. Everybody got along. You walked to school. You left your doors open at night. We never locked our doors. Everybody helped each other. They shared things. It was a very positive experience, and one that really gave you a life skill if you really look at it now, retrospect. And I think you got that at Roosevelt because of the diversity of the school. I graduated summer of '58. I was Miss Popularity, but I was very involved. I always liked sports, and since my father didn't believe girls should play sports, I played sports at school. I was president of the GAA, the Girls Athletic Association, played tennis, played basketball on weekends with a Japanese American club. I was in leadership. So one thing that was encouraging and so positive about Roosevelt is the teachers too. I mean, we had teachers who were Anglo and weren't bilingual and weren't bicultural, but they saw something in you. And they promoted it. I remember being dragged into leadership class by a teacher, Mr. Ingalls, who didn't speak a word of Spanish, but taught ESL. And he saw something in me. He says, you should consider running for some office. You need to get involved in school. And they got me involved. Yes, I was. I was what they call just a yell caller, not a cheerleader, a yell caller. Are you kidding? I still go. Oh, I just stopped about 2 years ago. Was I involved in the classics? Oh, that's why I love football. I guess what helped me was also relationships. When I was a senior, I was on what they call the 4-4 plan. You go to school 4 hours and you work 4 hours. And I met 2 guys who were not Latinos. And they were already at Glendale College. And when I was getting ready to graduate, they asked me, and they asked the right question. They said, what are you going to do after you graduate? And I said, nothing, probably work full time. And they said, you're crazy. You got to go to college. And they took me to talk to the counselor. They actually drove me. The counselor said, why do you want to go to college? You're not college material. So I got out of there furious, crying and angry, and I got in the car with my friends who drove me there. I said, I'm not going to college. I told you I wasn't going to college. And they go, what happened? And I go, well, he says I'm not college material. And they, you know what they did? They laughed. And they go, you're really stupid. We gave you more credit than you deserve. If you're going to let a stranger who doesn't know you keep you from going to college, then you know what? Don't go to college. Work full time. I have my mother's 94, still alive. And she was always a stabilizing force in the family, she and my grandmother. So I was raised by 2 fabulous, strong women. Her response when she found out it was $50, she says, ni más ricas ni más pobres. We're not going to be any richer or any poorer. $50. She says, mientras que no nos falte el frijol, la tortilla y el chile. If you want to go to college, you go to college. The community, the whole community, as I grew up and they knew I was going to college, it's like the whole community took a vested interest in me. Not financially, but morally. And like some of the vatos or the guys, I'd be walking by and they go, hey, ahí va la Angie, she's going to be a teacher. They took a lot of pride in the step I was taking. My first semester, I'm sitting there waiting, and they're coming, and they go, hey, did you read the paper? And it was, I guess, the school paper or the local paper. And I go, no. And they go, you made the dean's list. You've got a 4.0, straight A average. So then I said, oh, okay. And they go, no, you're not done. You take this article to that counselor who said you weren't college material. I am the first in the family to go to college, to graduate from college. Angie's Garage was the first bilingual, maybe, and the first probably program that the Latinos hosted on public television was Channel 7. And I was approached by a couple of Latinos. They had received a list of people in the district, teachers in the district. I was a teacher. And we're considering, getting somebody to host. I go, I'm not interested in TV. I'm not interested in that kind of work. I'm a teacher. They go, well, can we come and observe you anyway? We'd like to see you. I was approached a couple of weeks later saying, we'd like to offer you the job. It doesn't pay much, but, it's an opportunity. I agreed to do it, and it was rough. I guess I did it primarily because it was a step that was important for the Hispanics, and it needed to be done. We got an Emmy nomination. Didn't get the Emmy, but it was important that we got the Emmy nomination. Had a lot of followers, a lot of fan mail, and You know, had fan mail from Latinos in English and in Spanish, but we also had a lot of fan mail from non-Latinos that were very supportive of the program. I did a lot of parades, you know, the Christmas Elaine Parade. I did the Strawberry Festival Parade. I was invited to a lot of functions to speak, children events, school events, Cinco de Mayo Parade, you know. And people wanted the autograph. I just wanted to be a teacher, that's all. Ever since I was little, I used to play escuelita. I didn't articulate it to anybody, you know, but I always wanted that. And I guess my mom only had a first grade education, and she used to hit her head, tonta, burra, que no tuve educación. She instilled that love in me. And now as she's older, she says she's happier with her daughter fulfilling the dream than she fulfilling the dream herself. So becoming that teacher that my mother wanted to be, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a teacher, period. Never thought that I would be pulled out to write curriculum, English as a second language. Never thought that I would develop the Multicultural Center in East LA, one of the most comprehensive centers that was avant-garde. We had all the ethnic groups represented and women at that time, which was unheard of. And then to become a principal of an elementary school, it was like playing escuelota, was probably the highlight of my career. Working with wonderful educators and seeing what you could do at a school. And then being asked to be superintendent of East LA, the place where I grew up as a kid, Bridge, Harlem, Roosevelt were schools under my administration. I guess the biggest accomplishment is just being able to be a big teacher and hopefully a role model for people. I don't know what impact I've had. Probably one of the biggest honors in Boyle Heights, because Roosevelt was a very special place in the community. Respected, loved, protected by everybody. But first I thought it was a joke. You know, I really did. Because my thinking was induction into a Hall of Fame was always a sports figure. That's my schema for that induction. And so I said, are you kidding? I've never played any big sports. And, you know, finally when they left it, they stopped laughing and, you know, continued to explain it. I was honored, you know. I think it has to be, for a kid who went to Bridge, Hollenbeck, and Roosevelt, it probably has to be the biggest honor in my life, my career.